Hey guys, what is going on? It's Nem here, and in this video I'm going to be taking out my a Yamaha Xmax out for a ride. It's actually just been chilling in the garage for the last 3.5 or 4 months. I haven't ridden it actually since November of last year. It's just, been sitting here. I had it actually properly stored, and I did a video on how to properly winterize your bike. So I have a full tank of gas in the bike. I just checked the tire pressure. The tire pressure was fine. The bike has been on the center stand, so that's good. And the battery was also trickle charged. So this is my little key. Let's actually see if it'll beep on me. It actually does beep, so that's good. So I'm gonna put my helmet on, put the GoPro on the top of my helmet, and I'll go and take it out for a ride, see how she behaves after 3.5, 4 months of just kind of chilling here in my garage. So I'll see you guys in a few moments.
All right, guys. So as I've said, I haven't started a bike in the last 3.5, 4 months. So I'm just kind of excited to take it out. It's kind of nice. It's about I think about 40, 42 or 3 degrees outside. So it's not super warm, but it's not too bad. I have my jacket on and whatnot, so I should be okay, taking it out for a quick spin. So let's see actually how she does. So, all right, so battery's healthy. Okay, and I should have plenty of gas. All right, so it's almost full. That looks good. And now let's take a look. Okay, well, that was pretty good. So I'll just let it run for about 20 seconds, and then I'm just gonna take it out on a kind of a trip around town and whatnot, just to see how she behaves and whatnot. As I've said, I checked the tire pressure. It's fine. I believe that I did the oil change sometimes in September, so that should be good. And yeah, I think everything should be pretty good. I actually ended up replacing my brake fluid over the winter, so that's all good. And I will probably try to do my coolant sometimes this year, and then probably do another oil change during the summer and whatnot, just because I only have about maybe 1,500 to maybe 2,000 miles on the current oil, so that's pretty brand new as well. So I think that's plenty of time. All right, so let's see how she does. I apologize, my garage is kind of messy. I'm actually just doing some cleaning and whatnot, so I'm sorry about that, but let's go and see how she does. Oh, it is kind of cold actually, so let me just zip up my jacket. All right, she sounds really good actually, and I haven't ridden a motorcycle in the last 4 months, but it feels pretty natural. No issues. So we had some really high winds today. I noticed that my neighbor's siding actually ended up blowing off of his apartment, which wasn't good. But right now it's okay. It's a little cold, to be quite honest. I only have these jeans on, and I can feel the cold in my knees. So this will just be a short trip, pretty much around my neighborhood and whatnot. But the bike, yeah, it's doing really good. I see that the temperature is increasing, which is good. I'm hoping that you guys don't get a ton of wind noise, because I can hear it. It is kind of windy, but the bike feels really good. I'm going about 40, feels fine, 5,000 RPM, and to be quite honest, it's not like I'm expecting anything less. Let's take a left or a right here. I was actually hoping to maybe take the bike out to my local park and go for a run, but I do think that it's kind of cold for that, just because if I put some warm clothes on, I should be okay, and I think that I would be. I don't feel cold whatsoever, from in the second part of my body, or the upper part of my body, but I do feel it in my legs. But if I do go out for a jog, I'll probably sweat and whatnot, and then that would be terrible to ride like that back home. But no, it's okay. The bike feels great actually. I'm pretty much everything that I expected. It's not like I expected it to not work, but yeah, I did actually miss riding, so I'm kind of excited that spring is around the corner. So looking forward to taking this guy out on a couple of trips. Actually, I had one trip in mind, which is going down south to New Orleans. That's my main goal, taking a couple of days. It's quite a long journey from Illinois to actually northern Illinois, so I have to cover the entire Illinois to New Orleans. But I think I can do that in about 2 days with stops along the way, checking some places out and whatnot. So I think that would be fun. And another place that I want to go to is South Dakota. There's a places out in South Dakota that I want to check out. That's not too bad. I can probably do that in a day and then head back home the next day. As you guys probably know, the farthest I actually went on this guy was like over 600 miles, and I did that literally in a day with only like 2 stops and at 0 issues whatsoever. So I know the bike can handle it. So yeah, that's why I'm kind of looking forward to this upcoming few months, and hopefully nice weather. And yeah, I'll be excited to head out to New Orleans and South Dakota and whatnot. And if that goes well, then I'll probably do a couple more trips and whatnot. It's kind of weird that it's already middle of March, so I'm hoping to get some nice weather in April and May, so I can get those trips out of the way early in the year, so I can actually plan more trips for the summer. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, so far so good, no issues whatsoever. Let's actually take it here on this road where the speed limit is a bit higher, just to kind of see how she goes. Okay, that's 50, 60. Yeah, she feels good. Yep. So yeah, it's kind of cool being out, to be quite honest, even though it is kind of cold. Actually, let me see what the temperature is, because the bike can't. It's 46 according to the bike, which yeah, I think that's accurate. So that's not too bad. 46 is actually fine if there's no wind. There is some wind. Earlier in the day, they were forecasting winds of up to like 30 miles per hour, which is, yeah, that's fairly high. But now it's okay. But as I've said, I do feel some of that wind hitting my knees and whatnot, and it's kind of cold. But then again, all I have on is these jeans. So usually when I go out in the colder weather, I would have something underneath my jeans, and then I would also put some padding over my knees, and then that way I feel fine. Again, as I've said, I only have this this jacket on and just a t-shirt underneath it. I feel totally fine. So everything is fine other than the cold that I feel in my knees. But yeah, I'm super excited actually. The bike feels great, and it's been a while that I've been out, and there's actually some snow. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's still fresh snow actually, just because it snowed a couple of days ago. Yesterday we got some rain, so the snow melted, but it snowed on on Tuesday actually. We got, I think, a couple of inches, but now it's fine. And I think they're forecasting 50s and 60s for the next week. So as long as we don't get a ton of rain, I think that will be great to be out riding and just kind of enjoying the weather. So I'm kind of looking forward to taking this guy to school and to my job, and then as I've said, taking it out on a couple of trips. I was actually I was in Europe for quite a long time actually. I just came back actually 5 days ago, and I was actually in southern Eastern Europe, and the weather was actually beautiful. I was there for the entire February, the entire month of February and most of March, and the weather in February was about 65, 70. So a ton of guys on scooters just kind of riding around. And one thing that's really common in European countries is that they'll ride their scooters all year round, especially if they don't get snow. And then they'll use those, I don't even know what that's called. It's like a winter cover that you kind of put over your scooter, and then you kind of get into it, or you pretty much wear it. I don't even know how it works, but it's supposed to protect you from the cold weather, which is kind of cool. I think it looks kind of goofy having that on your bike, but you know, if the weather is cold and you do have to, you know, ride your scooter, I think that's a kind of a cool thing that they do. And a ton of scooters, as I've said, you know, guys use those for deliveries. People use them, you know, as their, you know, way to get from point A to point B. So that was kind of cool. I was actually tempted to rent one and just kind of use it for a, you know, a couple of weeks and whatnot, but I was just too busy, so I didn't do that. I ended up just using the car just because it's easier, especially when you have to, you know, travel a bunch and whatnot. And actually, let's turn it here. Especially when you have to travel a bunch and you're not sure what the weather will be like, it's just easier to have the car. Even though I, you know, thought about maybe, you know, I'll put up with the, you know, with the bad weather and whatnot, just so I can have some fun on the scooter. But you know, I didn't end up doing that, and I think that was a smart decision on my part. But this is a really nice neighborhood here. I love this road in particular. It's only like maybe half a mile, but it's really fun, and this is a really upscale neighborhood. I really like it. Yeah, I'm really happy how the bike feels, and now I see the temperature drop to 45. So I'll probably just head back home. But yeah, everything is fine. Not that I was expecting the bike not to start, just because I felt like I did a really good job of, you know, keeping it inside of my garage. The temperature in my garage is roughly about 50 degrees throughout the winter, which is pretty much perfect. And then as I said, I had the battery trickle charged. I have those cables running from my battery down the fork, so I just plug it in, and then when it's time to go, just unplug those and then wrap those cables around the fork. And as I've said, I used pure gas, which is basically gas without any ethanol, and it should theoretically last about twice as long as gas with ethanol. And I believe that I winterized my bike in like November, so that's why it was fine. It started right up, as you guys could hear. So yeah, I'm really happy about that. So let me just pass through this neighborhood up here, and then I'll head back home. But yeah, I'm kind of happy. It's kind of nice being out, even though I'm just kind of circling around. But yeah, it's kind of fun to be out again. One thing that I don't think I mentioned in that video, maybe I did, I can't remember, when it comes to winterizing your bike, you should definitely have it on the center stand if it's going to sit for a long time. You don't want any flat spots on your tires. So what I usually do, I'll have the bike on a center stand, and then I would also put some padding underneath the tires, like a sponge or something, and then the bike should be ready to go, you know, when the spring comes, as it was. You know, as I've said, the pressure in the rear tire was perfect. Up front, I believe it showed like 28 psi, so I just pumped the tire up to, I think, like 31, 32, and that's fine. To be quite honest, I can't even remember what the spec was. I think it's a bit higher than that, but I think that's okay. If I need to put some more air in, I'll do that when I get home. So yeah, it's kind of nice actually, just cruising around. This is something that I actually do, you know, just for fun. A lot of the times if I'm bored and whatnot, there's nothing to do, I'll just kind of get on my bike and, you know, cruise around the neighborhood, and it just kind of motivates me to be out of the house. And then I'll just park it somewhere and then, you know, go for a walk or go for a jog and whatnot. During the summer, obviously, you know, like everybody else, I'm just a lot more active. And one thing that I noticed is that to be quite honest, you know, going anywhere on the bike is kind of like a journey, and it actually motivates me to go out, and I'll go out, visit parks, and then when I visit a park, I'm like motivated to go and run and whatnot, and it's just kind of cool and whatnot. I don't have that same feeling when I'm just kind of driving my car. Even though I like traveling in a car as well, I find that to be fun as well, but it's just kind of a different thing when you're on a motorcycle. And especially, you know, when I'm planning on going somewhere, for example, I don't live too far from Chicago, about 60 or so miles. So anytime like my girlfriend or somebody wants to go and I can take the bike, I'm like so excited about it, just because it's just much more fun to do it on the bike than in the car, at least, you know, for me. You get to see a lot of things, you get to, you know, experience the wind. You can pretty much stop anywhere. I remember the first time, well, yeah, it was the first time that I went to Chicago on one of my bikes. I literally ended up stopping on every single bridge that I crossed and every little village that I passed, just because you can. It's not a hassle, you can just pull over anywhere you're on a bike. Whereas when you're in a car, it's a bit more difficult, and even dealing with, you know, neighborhoods that you're not familiar with, you know, one-way roads and whatnot, it's just much easier because you can stop anywhere and just kind of pull off to the side. It's not a big deal. So really happy to do that again this year, and really happy how the bike is actually behaving. This is pretty much by far my favorite thing that I bought I think ever. It's just so much fun. You know, it makes me feel awesome and whatnot, and I do really, you know, look forward to basically riding it every single day. As I've said, when it's time to go to like a class and whatnot, I'm in grad school and whatnot, so my classes are pretty late at night. But I love taking it. I'm like, heck yeah, let's go to class, let me take my bike. And I'll take it out even if it's, you know, drizzling rain and whatnot, just because I'm like, I want to take it out. It's I guess I've said it's an occasion to do that. So that's kind of cool. So I'm just gonna actually head back home. I pretty much just did a circle around my neighborhood. So I'm just gonna head back home, and then I think the weather tomorrow will be like mid-50s, and mid-50s is perfect. Even though it doesn't sound like a huge difference between mid-50s and mid-40s, it actually is. You can feel it. Realistically, I think if you want to go out riding, you'd want the weather to be at least 40 degrees. And then you'd want, you know, some warm clothing, obviously. But if you want to feel, you know, comfortable, not worry about any of that stuff, like mid-50s is perfect, and then anything, you know, up to whatever is fine after that. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what this next week has for us, what kind of weather. But apparently it's supposed to be, you know, mid-50s, even maybe low 60s and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. This is a really nice neighborhood, actually. They built this not too long ago, I think 4 or 5 years. Really nice apartments. I just live down the road there, or down the street, so I'm practically home. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for this video. I'm not sure if you guys have any questions. I noticed that I do get, you know, a question or two pretty much every day on the YouTube channel. I think there's like 600 people that follow me now, which is kind of cool, and I try to answer every question that you guys send me. So if you have a question, you can just you know, leave a comment and whatnot, and I'll be happy to answer any questions and whatnot. Not that you know, I have a ton of experience or anything, but if I can help you out, I'll be happy to do so. So yep, just made it home, and to be quite honest, it's kind of nice. I'll probably go out, take another ride, but as I didn't close my garage, I thought it was a good idea to come back home anyways, and then I'll probably have to, you know, clean out my garage as well. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm extremely happy how, you know, this went, and the bike felt great. started right up. As I've said, I haven't started it since November. It was just literally chilling in this one spot. Every now and then I'd like move it around if I had to clean and whatnot, but that was it. I never started it. I would just push it, and yeah, glad how that went. The next thing that I'll do is I'll probably say to actually get rid of this gas that's in the tank as soon as possible, just by riding it around and put in some fresh gas in it. That's pretty much it. Again, if you guys have any questions, you can just let me know, and then, as I've said, I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.